Good morning. I am heavy-hearted today, and I finally got a good night's sleep. I've been doing a period transformation reset for my health after COVID and all of the stuff that went on earlier this year. As I unpacked the company WFG and Revolution Financial Management that I've been with, and all the stress of that, needed to reset myself a little bit. And yeah, I just the more I start to speak up and share my story, the more I realize the more I have to say out of a place of, um, you know, it- maybe it is too early. And at the same time, it's happening right now, the stuff that I see happening. And so I feel like I have to voice it and I have to be at least a little voice resounding some truth out there because it's not it's not right. And I know I still have my own anger and my own hurt and my own pain to process from being part of this company and being in what I felt like was a family for me and that I loved immediately. I resonated with these people. I felt so at home with them. And to have what happened to me happen to me and then not be given help, not only be not given help, like my own financial home being put in danger and then being lied to and then having to spend hours, y'all. I have spent so many hours trying to unpack all of this for my own financial home. I wanted to bury my head in the sand because I didn't want to address this, but I couldn't because it was my own financial home and it was my friend's financial home. And I wasn't going to continue to allow them to put their hard earned money, what little they had, into a product that wasn't good for them. And to know that there's probably, possibly hundreds of other people in this product that doesn't fit their goals. And they've been educated in a way that would actually make the product really bad for them if they started using it the way they were educated. Like, I can't rest. I can't necessarily process my own hurt and anger and experience until I know that I have done everything legally possible to help other people. And I feel like I don't have a fiduciary responsibility because I'm not securities licensed, but I have a moral obligation to bring this forth. And so this is like my day off. I work about 7 days a week, at least 6 days. And here I am, probably going to do 3 or 4 videos today because I have so much on my heart that needs to be said. And this video, I want to help those people that I have spoken with, those agents that are on the team I was on, hear me if possible, which I know is a lot to ask of the universe because I understand what it's like to be in a toxic, controlling environment when not and not even know that you're in that environment. And so, a little background on me because this is going to help, and then I'm going to give you an analogy of what this is like, um, and then I'm going to say exactly what I'm not doing here, and then I'm going to share what I see going on. So that's our outline for today. I woke up in about 2010 to, well, actually 2008. Yeah, I can't even remember. Um, with my lovely aunt, God bless her, looking at me when I was staying with her after my second son was born. I was about 8 weeks postpartum and saying, you cannot have any more kids until you figure out what's going on with your marriage because you're acting like an abuse victim that I see on Oprah. And it was the first time anyone had said that word abuse to me. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what was going on. Well, over the course of the next 4 years, I began to do some research and understood that I was in a very unhealthy marriage and had always been from day one. And I was the perfect person for it because I'm a people pleaser. I'm codependent. I had no experience in relationships. And I didn't date around. And so I just trusted. I'm one of those also the people, I think I said this already, that I just trust without verifying. And it's a great trait, but it's not a great trait for a lot of reasons I'm not going to go into right now. And so as I unpacked this, I kept asking questions of like, how did I get here? How did society get here? Because I understood that the idea of domestic violence, domestic abuse was so huge and so prevalent and not diminishing, it was growing. And so I, over the course of the last, well, since 2008, right? So almost 13 years, have researched human dynamics, how we got into the structural society of patriarchy and psychology and narcissism and personality disorders. And I've been through intensive recovery classes that were 36 weeks long, 3 hours a week, plus homework, plus therapy, life coaching certificate, hours of dancing my stuff out, getting into trauma healing. Like I have done my work these last 13 years to understand this. And unfortunately, um, abuse is so prevalent because it's built into our culture. And it's not even abuse, it's just the way people interact, thinking that it's okay to do it still in this day and age because it's been happening for so long. It's not going to disappear overnight. It's going to take a while. So it's going to happen. Even with my expertise, even with starting to teach people about what the red flags are to look for, it's still very easy in our culture to walk into situations that we would term abusive, but it's really more of like, it's just, let's call it unhealthy. It's not mutually win-win situations. It's really about dominance because one person wants to have more control over you than you want them to really have control over you. But anyways, that's a whole other story. We're not gonna go there. So the analogy, that's my background. I've removed myself from toxic relationships after toxic relationships, starting with the work inside to remove it from me. I have done the work and I will continue to do the work. I mean, about every 6 months to a year, I have a girlfriend at this point show up who I just absolutely fall in love with. And then about 2 to 3, 4 weeks later, oh, well, there was the love bombing, there were the red flags, and boom, I just remove myself very quickly. I don't stay. And it took a little bit longer to reveal itself at WFG and RFM, but that's exactly what happened. It's the anti-MLM community is calling it a cult. In my opinion, a cult is everything. We're community-driven, social-driven people, and every community is going to have its own lingo, its own way of interacting, and its own, like, we're special, so we're over here together, and it's not that we're extricating you, but it's just like we're spending a lot of time together. So I don't have an issue with that. I mean, you can use the word cult if you wanted to. I don't have an issue with MLMs. Really, in theory, I think they're still a great business model. In practicality, I just have not seen it work out well because people are humans and they don't know what they don't know, and they're not immature, they're not emotionally mature and adults. And so it's a struggle, right? So that's the struggle. That's a very real struggle. And anyways, I lost my train of thought a little bit. But what I was going to say is, here's an analogy that really helps people. And it blows my mind still that people haven't heard this. But again, I've spent 13 years uncovering and getting healthy from my part and drawing in and being attracted to these types of people, relationships, and now companies. And it's a lot about, like, they promise to take care of you. That's what I was gonna say. They promise to take care of you. They love bomb. It feels so good, especially in the culture where we are right now, especially in COVID. Like, oh, sister, I got your back. We're gonna be family. We've got this, and walking away from that is very hard, even when you start to see all of this stuff under the surface. So here's the analogy. The analogy is this, that a frog put in a cool pot of water. Oh, let me start here. A frog put in a boiling pot of water is going to know that it's a boiling immediately and is going to jump out. Whereas a frog that's placed in a cool pot of water and the heat is turned up slowly is never going to know that it is frying itself to death, that it's being boiled to death. This is the process of psychological control and abuse that happens in unhealthy, toxic relationships, whether it be personal, religious, or business. And what happens is people start with that love bombing, that's the cool water. It makes you feel good. Oh, like, oh, isn't this so nice? And then once they get you like addicted to that cool water, that love bombing, you're going to do so well here. We are going to support you. Your dreams are going to, you're just not dreaming big enough. You need to dream bigger. Then they know they've got you a little bit and they start turning up that heat, and they start turning it up very subliminally, very discreetly, so that you don't even know what's going on. And that's exactly what I see happening right now. It's what I saw happening as, the veil started to come down about 4 or 5 months into being part of this company and that team. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I want to keep this very low key and laid back. I'm going to read what I wrote this morning because I think it's really important for me to state this, that it's been coming out already that people don't like what I'm saying about the upline that I was under at RFM, or Revolution Financial Management, or WFG. And I did a post or a live video yesterday saying this isn't about them at this point. I have given them every opportunity. I mean, this has been going on since November of 2020. I have been coming to my upline saying, look at what I found. Please help me. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I never attacked her. I just said, this is the wrong product. We need to change this. Please help me. And I did that for about 2 months, just giving her the benefit of the doubt. And it was a little bit, honestly, like I wanted to bury my head in the sand as well. But I couldn't, again, because this was my financial future. And I didn't want to bury my head in the sand. I mean, that's what we're educating people. How hypocritical if I'm burying my head in the sand, but yet educating people not to do that. She quietly changed products that she was using. So Nationwide had 2 different products, and I've already mentioned this several times. So that's the company. Nationwide, for the most part, has been very responsive and helpful with the situation. WFG, RFM, and my upline were not. So I'm just going to say that. They had every opportunity to do the right thing. And I met being ignored. I met being resisted. I met being belittled and demeaned, or again, ignored. WFG is now just finally getting back to me because I've escalated it even more based on the fact that I've now gotten 3 of us our premiums back based on what I've been able to show. So again, I'm not here to badmouth those at the top. I honestly do not believe that they even truly see what they are doing as wrong, or how they're doing it as wrong. I honestly believe that they have convinced themselves that everything they do is for the benefit of everybody else in order to save them from a life of destitute, being poor and broke. I mean, I believe that because that's a lot of what I was told as I started to uncover the different things. And I'm going to do a full expose of my experience there probably next, if you want to be able to watch that. But I wanted to really separate out this point because it really breaks my heart as to what's happening right now. And it's not right. Justice needs to come from this. So, yeah. And again, like when you start to go against your conscience just a little bit here and a little bit there, eventually going against your consciousness, it's no big deal because you've numbed it out. And so I believe, my upline, especially, and possibly even the head of Revolution Financial Management, doesn't really even know what they're doing is mind control and abusive tactics in order to keep people in line with what they need and with what they need. And they've been able to convince themselves that what they need is so much what everybody else needs, exactly what everybody else needs. And so they're able to convince people of that. But I don't think that they consciously see what they're doing is putting people in a place where it's not fair to put them. Energetically, emotionally, financially, it's not okay to be putting these people in that. And that's what I'm hoping to show through this video. So I know, because this is, what I was, again, I know a lot of the tactics that have been used, because when I started questioning loudly, and I will again share that in my own video about my experience and the actual timeline of events, I started questioning loudly when everything was starting to hit the fan, when I heard or saw that my upline was not responding to my request about changing products. And then I found out that I wasn't allowed to change products because it was too new in the product, and I missed the free 30-day look, which allows you to cancel the product. So then I was like, well, this is a training issue. And I got slammed. The door got slammed in my face when I said, let's just train people more. Like, that seems to be the big issue. We get tons of training on how to recruit, how to be a good team leader, but we don't get tons of training on actually how to do our job. And it's a federally and state regulated industry. So we maybe want to spend some time on that. That to me was really interesting. The fact that I got the door slammed in my face when I just was like, let's just do more training. I think that that's probably the issue and the solution here. Like, that was a huge red flag to me. Why would doing more training on our job be an issue? And why would I be demeaned and told I couldn't listen to my downline and their request for more training? Like, it was just like mind blowing to me that I couldn't ask for that. So, what I see now, though, going on is inexcusable. Agents, and here's the crust, the crust. Here is the cusp of what I want to say today, or the real stuff is what's happening now, because the culture, let me give you a little backstory, the culture of the team structure in RFM, and I believe this is WFG wide too, but I can't speak to that. I mean, I can only speak to what I saw in RFM, Revolution Financial Management, is that you respect and honor your upline, your SMD, at any cost. And it goes as far as you do this, even if you don't like them, even if you don't agree with them, you never speak badly, you never speak out, you never disagree. You are just supposed to fall in line with what they do and do it. And this came down to one of my last conversations with my upline. I started with this question. I said, if you saw that something your upline, the head of Team Revolution, was asking you to do was in direct contradiction to your own ethics, moral, and your own consciousness, what would you do? And she quite simply said to me, I'd follow her. I'd do what she wanted me to do. And I just said, well, we are fundamentally different people, and I will not follow you blindly when I see things going on that I don't agree with. And that's the type of culture, though, that makes a good agent. And they tell you that that's what's going to take in order to get to where you want to go, which is really, again, that's a whole nother story. They tell you to dream big. Oh, you're not dreaming big enough. But really, do you really need to dream that big? I mean, is that really your desire? Or is that their desire so that they could stay at the level that they need to? Just saying. So what's happening now that you have the background of what the environment is like there, and if you see that on your team, then just beware. Do not drop your consciousness at the door and follow these uplines blindly. I just did an interview with Chris Kirkpatrick at Life 180 yesterday, who is a real bigwig in the industry. He doesn't have his license anymore because he wants to be able to help bring a lot of integrity to the industry. And so he's able to do things that us as licensed agents aren't able to do. And he said a couple things on this, right? Like, the training is a huge issue. That needs to be first and foremost. It should not be about recruiting right off the bat. People need to learn how to become agents and do it well first before they are let loose to become a team lead. He also just gave some credit to the fact that I've been able to get 3 of us our premiums back to basically cancel our policies. That doesn't happen in the insurance industry, especially. I mean, he actually told me when I got mine back, and then the first go around with my friends, they got denied. He said, well, that's probably pretty common. They're not going to want to set precedents. And I said, sorry, Chris, I'm not going to believe that answer. I'm going to get them their money back. And I was able to, because I believed that firmly, that I was right with the evidence, right with my understanding of what everything was showing me. And I was able to do it. They were able to cancel their policy and get their refund back. So yes, follow your upline at all costs. And this is what's happening right now. Right now, I had spoken to several agents on the team who were checking to see if they were also in the Protector 2 product. And this is how I discovered that at least 2 years this has been going on, that this upline has been using this product as her flagship product in order to get people, first of all, in a product they probably maybe shouldn't even be in because they can't quite afford it yet. Um, and she always thought it was actually cheaper, but when you ran the numbers with the other one, it was like $5 or $10 cheaper. But you also, anyways, I'm not going to go there. Um, so they're in this product themselves, and they're asking me, once they discovered they were, like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And so we started, like, really this live stream started because I wanted them to have some way of explaining to their loved ones, their friends and family that might also or were in this product, as to what was happening, in order so that they knew they weren't alone and that they had support, because there was stuff that they were going to have to do now that their awareness was there, that they needed to take action for their own financial home, and that of their friends and family and other people that they've been split agents on putting people in this product. And most of them have been split agents because they weren't trained enough in order to do this on their own. They didn't have maybe the time or the understanding of the financial world, or the I don't know. I mean, I just had a passion for it, so I got myself trained on my own, but that wasn't really happening on the rest of the team. And so they didn't feel comfortable doing appointments on their own. So a lot of this stuff was split cases. And unfortunately, because that was her flagship product, that's what people got put into. And so they initially said, oh, I need to go check. This is about people's financial homes. Every single agent I talked to realized the gravity and what was at stake with this, that this isn't something like, I got the wrong shake in the mail from that MLM I'm part of. I got the wrong financial product for my future that I was counting on for retirement. And what's happening now is, because someone gave my first video to Team Revolution and Team Inspiration and watched it, there's now been some training, I'm guessing. This is all speculation, but I'm pretty sure this is how it's happening because I was involved in this and I had heard some of the tactics as to what the upline for Team Revolution was doing when bad reviews came out. There was comments around, oh, she had her assistant take care of those, right? So, and then they train you on what to believe and what to say to people. And so, 2 of the 3 people that I've been talking with that felt strongly that they needed to take action have all of a sudden rescinded, have said that they don't like what's being said about the upline, and that they don't want to be involved. And that just breaks my heart because, again, this isn't about the upline. They are being asked, they're being trained. I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure they are being trained to ignore their own consciousness, to ignore their own financial home in order to respect their upline, when their upline has proven 3 times at the very least at this point in time to not be trustworthy, to not do the right thing, to not speak up and say, yeah, I made a mistake, let me try to fix this. Not only did she never accept the fact that she made a mistake, she tried to make it look like it was just on my whim that I wanted to change a product that didn't fit my goals, that would have put my financial future at stake. And she wasn't able to get me the answers that I needed, which is to get out of the product or get into a new product. But I was. She just danced around the whole thing. And that's what I have an issue with. That breaks my heart. This woman is a friend of my family. And now I have to deal with, think about it. Would I really want to be spending all of this time? I mean, I have plenty of other things on my plate that I am so excited about and wanting to do. But because I am so passionate about making sure that your financial home is okay, I mean, part of me has to ask, if you're not concerned about your own financial home as much as I am, Okay, but I am still concerned about those other people that don't know yet, and that might not know unless I continue to speak out. And other people that have been on either this team or other teams in WFG, I want you to know that you're not alone, that you're not alone with the tactics. They call it gaslighting. I saw a lot of really demeaningness towards me and my friends that I brought on the team, and towards everyone that wasn't at the SMD level and above. Um, and it's not okay. It is not okay to demean people in order to get them to follow you. And you don't put these little seeds of having people question their own reality in order to get them to follow you. That's another tactic. So I'm imagining that that's what's happening right now. I'm imagining that the team is not able to speak against the evidence that I've provided, because it's evidence that is obviously getting me results. I was even told, I will be really honest, I was even told on a phone conversation, and I tried my hardest to get this in an email or on a Zoom call so I could have it recorded, because I knew I would need that. But she was smart and she didn't do that. But on a phone call with the upline, with the team revolution manager, whatever you want to call her, I was demeaned repeatedly, being told, well, you're just an Uber driver. Like, meaning you don't know much. You haven't been in the industry very long. You can't trust yourself to know what's really going on. Yeah, I have to say this too. She tried to convince me that the Protector 2 product that I had been put in by my upline was still going to have good cash value. Now, again, I geeked out on these products, and I spent so much time learning how to run the illustrations accurately with Nationwide, asking tons of questions, hours of my own time training myself. And so I was able to run these illustrations backwards and forwards. And when I did my best to compare apples to apples, because they're not the same product, but when I said, okay, I'm going to put 150 into each product for this long, up until 65, I'm going to take, or actually I think I did 75. I'm going to start taking 10 years of distributions at this level and then stop. And then I want to see how these two perform. When I did that, y'all, $1 million difference between the Protector 2 and Accumulator. Accumulator had $1 million more in its cash value than the Protector, because of the way of that 25% cost of insurance reduction. I cannot stress that enough. You will not get the same results from these two products, even if they are telling you you will. There is a huge difference. And you know me, I was asked to be doing the training for some of this stuff because I knew it inside out better, I'm guessing, than even our upline did. And I could explain it better because I took the time to educate myself. So if they're trying to tell you that you're okay, that you're still going to get great cash value, it's BS. That policy is not designed to be an alternative to retirement or an alternative to your savings account. It will start to lapse, even though it has a no lapse guarantee rider on it. That's just BS. It's going to eat up your cash value because you're going to lose that 25% cost of reduction in it if you start taking cash out at an amount that we've been taught we could take out. And that's just wrong. It's wrong that they are asking you to put your upline in front of you and your family and your friends' financial homes. And you have a moral obligation at this point to yourself and to everybody else to make sure that you do what you can to help yourself and them, not to her. She had every opportunity to do right by you, to do right by me, to do right by my friends and all of her other clients. And then unfortunately, the leadership is making this worse. They're putting more fuel onto this fire and making it worse for themselves. You should not be asked to put your financial future at harm's way in order to respect this. You shouldn't. End of story. And it breaks my heart that that's what's happening to you right now. All I can say is I hope you hear me. I hope you really take time to step back and listen and really check in with your consciousness. Stop I mean, this is what I had to do for a month or 2 months after my marriage I knew was over. Because when you're constantly in that energy of the person that is doing what they're doing in order to control your actions to the way that they want you to, you can't hear your own consciousness. You can't hear yourself think. You might think you can, but you can't because that energy is all pervasive. I spent an hour and a half on the phone one Saturday, or maybe it wasn't a Saturday, who cares, with head of Team Revolution. And she drained my energy little by little by just doing this. She wouldn't listen to me. She just talked at me. And that is an actual energetic tactic in order to wear people down. So all they want to do is say, okay, you're right. Okay, get it. Okay, I get it. I'm going to do what you want me to do. So you get them off your back. 5 minutes, literally, I was exhausted by the end of the conversation. I could see what was happening. But I was like so fascinated. I'm like, wow, so here it is. This is what's really happening on Team Revolution. 5 minutes after I hung up that phone conversation, all of my energy came back. And that was a confirmation enough to me that this was not a healthy place. It wasn't really what it was seeming to be. So my encouragement to you is to stop talking to them. Stop talking to me. Stop listening to me. Stop talking to them. Stop listening to them for a good 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month. And then check in with yourself. Let yourself clear that energy for a while and then come back and then check with yourself and see what's really true for you. That's what I would suggest. Now, I'm probably never going to suggest not listening to them. They've got your back. They want the best for you. They're going to use their energy to really, I mean, maybe even tears to really convince you that they've got your back, that they love you, that they believe in you, that you can't let any naysayers keep you down. And to that, I just have to ask you, like, are you having success listening to them? Are you really having financial success listening to them? You know, somehow, because I believed enough in myself and I had the sales background and communication background, and I really fell in love with the IUL, which I have fallen out of love with. I did have financial success really early on. You know, and some people would say that was because my upline, and I would say, yeah. But that was also because I prepped my people before they talked to my upline. I did a lot of pre-pep so that they knew what they were going to hear so that they could make a decision for themselves, truly what they wanted to do. And I said, you're going to be pitched to be recruited to the team, you know. Only do that if you're seriously interested. I mean, I think it's great if you listen to the structure of how we do things, because I think that's great for your own understanding, but don't feel like you need to join. And because I believed in the product so heavily and I understood it, right? Those that understand what they're selling are better at selling it. Those that understand the benefits of what they have can really help people see the benefits of being in that product. That's why I had success, because I trained myself. So I just have to ask you, like, are you truly having success? Are you truly having the financial success after all the energy, time, sweat, and tears that you've put into this? And don't listen to them when they're saying you're not doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing. And I saw all of you doing the right thing. And I saw you get berated for that because it wasn't enough, because it didn't have the results that they wanted. And it might have been because you weren't trained enough to understand what you were actually selling, what you were actually doing to help people. Yes, you could speak about the crusade till you were blue in the face, but you didn't know the technical, details of how to actually do that. Anyways, there's so much more I could say. I really do truly love you all. And I do wish the best for you. I wish that this had turned out. I mean, that's why I stalled so long and even taking action for myself and trusted our upline to take action for me and my friends and everybody else. I really just believed in her. I believed that she would do the right thing. And when I saw that I was being ignored for 3 months, it was time to take action because my financial home is at stake and your financial home is at stake. And who knows how many others? I don't know yet. I don't know yet, but I'm working to do what I can in order to uncover that so that people are helped by this. Unfortunately, and I've said this before, this is par course for the financial industry. The financial industry screws people all the time, and I can't do anything about that. But this is something I can do, and it's up to you. It's up to you to make the decision for yourself, for your friends, for your family, to do right by your financial home. And I can't stress enough that that product that you were placed in, the Protector 2 by Nationwide, is not meant to be used as a cash accumulation product for early retirement or post retirement. It will not perform the way that you have been counting on, and you will not have the sufficient funds you need in order to retire. You don't. And so you can continue to bury your head in the sand for yourself and your clients and your friends. Um, but that's only going to make it worse when people are going to come to you and start asking for help in this, and not understanding why they don't have the money there that they need. Again, this isn't something small like a shake or makeup or Amway. Like, this is major. And I just pray that you take action. So much love. Bye.